Today I am foraging for redbud blooms. It's time. They're on a couple of their last days. As you can see, the leaves are starting to come out and they're starting to turn brown a little bit. And these are really easy to forage. I mean, you literally just do this and put them in your basket. I already have some violets, some dead nettle, and some dandelion blooms on there. Today we are going to make some different infused oils, vinegar, and honey with all of this goodness. So I'll meet you in there.
Hey guys, it's Stephanie, your new kitchen witch. I am starting a new series called the Yard-to-Table Kitchen Witch. I have been a kitchen witch now for a very long time, since my breast cancer. Sorry about my windblown look. It's very windy out there today while I was foraging, but I've been making my own cleaning and body care products for years. But now I'm getting into all of the amazing goodness that's right here in my yard. So this video is going to be about the spring blossoms and leaves that I'm using right now, which are redbud, violet, wild violet, and dandelion. And so I'm going to teach you in this video how, also turmeric, sorry, I was already making this. So we have a turmeric tincture, how to do that, how to make a violet leaf infused olive oil, how to make a redbud and violet infused white vinegar, and how to make a dandelion, I'm gonna have to put more honey in that, dandelion, redbud, and violet honey. And so these are gonna be amazing. I don't want you to take my word for anything. I am not a doctor. I cannot diagnose, I cannot prescribe anything for you. What I do know is that I've done a lot of research, so do your own research on these items. They are items I'm already using, and I'm just infusing them with amazing, what people would call weeds, plants in my yard that have properties such as vitamin A, vitamin C, beta carotenes. They've been used since the ancient days. And I'm very excited to try this for the first time this year. As if you follow me, I am making as much of my food from scratch that I can, because I've decided to take back my health. And so I'm just really, I'm not doing processed food anymore, you guys. So if you follow me on Facebook, I've been posting about this a lot already. I've done a few shorts on here. I do a little bit on TikTok, but this is going to be my new series moving forward. Now, some of these things take 4 to 6 weeks, so I'm not doing that right now, but these don't. So some of these are going to take a while before we can strain them off, but I want to get this out to you now because these are the things that are in season right now, in case you want to try it too. So let's get into the video. Okay, here we are with what I have brought in from outside of the redbud and violet blossoms. And there really isn't anything you have to do to them. You don't have to wash them or anything, because I know where I sourced them, and it also rained yesterday and overnight, so I feel pretty good about that. You really don't want to saturate the blossoms with water anyway. So I am going to fill this jar at least halfway, if not 3/4 of a way. And you don't want to pack it, you just want to fill it as such. And whatever I don't use, I will be using on salads, etc. So, or in other products. So I am going to be making some oil and other products as well. So there we have it. And then I'm just going to put a regular white vinegar on this, because that's what I would use if I was going to use a vinegar. You can use apple cider vinegar, you can use a white wine vinegar. If you use the apple cider vinegar though, it is going to change, the color won't be as good, and the color on this is going to be amazing. So you just want to make sure that you get it all covered in there. Now you do want to use a plastic lid on this. If you don't have a plastic lid, then you will want to put some parchment paper or something in between the metal lid because of the vinegar. And there you have it. We will just be letting this set for, I don't know, a week, maybe longer, depending. So see you back here in a week. Since I decided to do this video just a little bit differently, where I wanted to get the instructions to you now, because these items are the red buds and the violets and the dandelions, etc., are in season now, just in case you wanted to try it, I need to add a little bit to the instructions. Once you are ready, it could be a couple of days, it could be a week, it could be longer. You can see that it's already changed a beautiful, beautiful pinkish purple color already in just one day. But when you're ready to use this vinegar, you can strain off the blooms, the blossoms, and then use them as a pickled blossom on salads, etc. Then you use the vinegar to cook with. I just think it's absolutely gorgeous. Look at that. And that's just after one day. So I'll do a follow-up whenever it gets to the time that I'm going to strain them off. I'll do a follow-up for you so you can see that part of the process. So now I want to forage the violet leaves, if you will. This is going to go into an oil. So I'm going to make a violet infused oil. And this is going to be much easier than foraging the blooms because the leaves are much easier to pick. And this I already have picked. I've already done that part of it. And then we're going to infuse an olive oil that we can either cook with or use for massage. It's really good for lymph drainage. It's really good to cook with. So I'll see you in a minute. Here we are, and we're going to put the greens of the violets directly into a jar. And I am not washing these. Again, they came from my yard and it just rained and they are washed. You do not want wet greens when you're making this oil because it will then can cause it to go bad. So you don't want to pack it or anything. You can cut these prior to putting them in here, or you can cut them while they're in here. You can cut them with a kitchen scissors, and that's the method that I'm going to use. This again is going to be an olive oil infused with violets. Now you don't need to use the blooms, but I'm going to throw a few in there just for fun. It's more in the greens that you get the medicinal properties out of for this. So I think this is going to be good. I'm just going to use my kitchen scissors here. And because I'm using olive oil, I am going to be able to really use it to cook with and to use as a massage oil for lymph drainage, which is one of my issues as a breast cancer survivor. I'm going to go get some more leaves because it looks like now that I'm cutting them down, I'm going to need more, and we'll be back to put the oil in. I think I have enough of my violet greens in here now, and now we're going to pour extra virgin olive oil all over and make sure we get it completely saturated. You don't want any air bubbles, etc., and you want to completely saturate it all the way up to the top. There you go. All right, now here is our concoction. Now this is going to take 4 to 6 weeks. It is going to be rich in vitamin C. It's going to be good for lymphatic drainage, which is one of my issues. And so what you're going to do is some people put it in a dark place, and then other people put it into the windowsill because they want the sun to infuse it as well. And you want to, get it out and shake it, give it a little shake, or also stir it a little bit. We do have some air bubbles, so I'm going to make sure I get those out with a knife, etc. You can put the lid all the way on. This was dry, so it shouldn't have an issue. Or you can also put like some cheesecloth or some parchment paper on before you put the lid on, just to let any of that the moisture out so it doesn't go bad. And you want to make sure you date it, put what's in it on your label, and then that way you know when you need to go back and drain it so you can use it. Okay, so I'm going to now make a violet and dandelion bloom infused honey with this local honey that I picked up today. If you are local to Brookville or Cedar Grove area of Indiana, this is Paw Paw's Honeybees. This is a quart of honey for $21, raw honey. So very excited about this. Anyway, I've already done all the foraging and I've already done most of the dandelions, but I wanted to show you what you do. You just want to get the green off. So you're literally just going to take the blooms out. There might still be a little bit of green, but they're kind of, can be a little bitter. So you want to take those off. So I'm just going to make a small batch of this because I've never done it before and I don't use a whole lot of honey. But you want to just put the blooms in the jar. You don't want to pack them. You just put them in like so. This is so rich with so many things like vitamin A and antioxidants and whatnot. And I've also got a few of my redbud blossoms left, and why not? Let's just go ahead and put those in as well. Now, I foraged these in my yard, so I am not washing them. I know that it rained and I responsibly foraged, so I'm not washing them because you don't want to get a lot of wetness on them, because I'm just mixing them up a little bit. You don't want to get a lot of wetness on them. Actually, mix them up a little bit so that they're evenly distributed in there, maybe. Because the wetness with the honey can cause fermenting issues and you don't really want that. So I'm going to put about that much in there. I think that looks good. And then we are just going to pour our honey on it. So you just pour the honey over it as such. Don't want to waste any of that goodness. Now what I'm going to need to do is get all these air bubbles out that you see. So I'm going to use a knife for that. Because you don't want those air bubbles in there. And then we might have to put a little bit more honey in there after it goes down a little bit. But now what we're going to do is we're going to put the lid on this and we're going to put it in a dark and cool pantry or cabinet and let it infuse. Let those infuse with it. I'm going to put a little bit more in there. Now, some people say you need to let it infuse for a few weeks. Some others use it right away. So we'll see. I have not done this before, so we'll see what happens. But also, some people will strain off the blooms, and then some people will just leave them in there because it's really good for you and you can eat them. So I'm only making this small batch because, again, I've never done it before and I don't go through honey as one person very quickly and I don't want it to go bad. So I'm only going to do this small jar to see how it goes, and then maybe I'll do something else with the rest of my honey down the road with other items that come into bloom, etc. But I'm having a really good time with this. Hopefully you're enjoying. And from this kitchen witch, from the yard to table. Today we're going to make a turmeric tincture. This is the first tincture that I have made, and I made it with the actual powder, the spice, the first time because that's what I had on hand. We started taking turmeric years ago. I did for my brain fog from chemo and from the daily chemo pill I was taking. And then my dog, my last dog, because he had arthritis really bad. It is a wonder elixir tincture that you definitely want to
add into your everyday life. My parents both take it, I take it. And so now, instead of taking a pill that we don't really know what's in it, I'm making our own. I was able to get the turmeric root, which you can grow yourself, and I might try to grow that this year, but I was able to get this at an international market for about $6 or $7 a pound. And this should be about a pound. This is a Ninja, and I'm not going to make you watch me and listen to this process, so I'll be back. Okay, here we go. You can see that we have got this all ground up. You can use a food processor. I just use my Ninja. And you notice that I did not peel it or anything. I had just washed it before I did that. You don't have to peel it because you're going to strain this off. So this is probably a little too much for this jar, but it wasn't enough for my larger jar. You want to note also that it will stain everything, including your hands. So you might want to use gloves. I don't care, but it will stain your jar. So I had used a good ball jar the last time, an antique one, and I'm hoping I can get that stain off. So I'm not using good jars anymore. So yeah, again, about half of, this is about a pound. Some people, have different recipes, but I'm going to put roughly a tablespoon of ground black pepper in. This is to help you absorb it. The ground pepper helps your body absorb the turmeric. Now, some people will put in water to dilute the vodka, which I don't understand that. You don't want to use anything less than an 80 to 100 proof. So a 40 to a 50% alcohol. I was able to get this one that I'm using yesterday at the liquor store for half off. So you want to fill this up with vodka of your choice. You can use other kinds of alcohols as well. Just make sure that they are 80 to 100 proof. So you're gonna just fill it all the way up. And then you want to give it a good shake. Put it on and give it a good shake. And there you go. And there you have it. And so this is going to need a good 6 to 8 weeks to extract all the goodness in there. I just did my second batch that was with the fresh root, and it was much easier than the powder to extract, because what you're going to do is you're then going to strain off the liquid and put it into dark bottles. I like this 2-ounce dropper bottle, and then it depends on the person, but you want to do at least about half a teaspoon a day, if not twice a day, in water or a juice, something to that nature. I was able to get I think like 10 to 11 of these out of just a little bit larger jar than this. So again, we're going to put this in a dark closet or cabinet, out of the sun for 6 to 8 weeks. And then we will strain it and we will show you what we've got. This is amazing. Do your research. Don't take my word for it. But this is a much cheaper way to make this and you know what's in it, than if you bought the pills from the store. Again, I was able to get the vodka for $10, and this isn't even half of that. So $4 maybe for the vodka, and this is half of the turmeric that I got. So this is about a pound. So maybe $6 for the turmeric root, and then pennies for the pepper. Just your time. Be back in 6 to 8 weeks.
Okay, that wraps up this first episode of Yard to Table Kitchen Witch. And I hope you enjoyed this. Again, not a doctor. I cannot diagnose or prescribe. All I can tell you is this is what I'm doing, and I want you to do your own research. These are not the only recipes out there, so you might find something that you like better, but these are what I'm trying to put more amazing goodness, healthy, natural substance in my body. And I hope that you find what works for you. Stay tuned for more episodes as I make things from scratch and start to teach you more. I'll talk to you soon.